Brent, thank you so much for joining us today. Critical minerals are all over the news. And of course, we want to discuss barium today and why barium matters. So we should probably start with an introduction to what is barium, and what better than an expert on barium. Can you tell us about barium?
Sure. Barium sulfate, also called barite. It's very abundant around the world, but it's associated with base metals. So when you're out prospecting for a gold mine or a copper mine, you look for the barite, and down strike you usually find the metals. So there's always metal contamination within barite deposits. And barite's number one use is for oil field drilling. So it's very dense. It's got a specific gravity of 4.4. And when you're drilling a well, you're adding barite to overcome the pressure so you can continue to drill deeper. And that's the number one use for barite. And then in the industrial segment, it's used in paints. It's used in rubbers, fillers. It's got a very widespread industrial use. And that's why it's a critical strategic mineral. And in the pharmaceutical sector, it's used in radiology. And the rarest form of barium sulfate is pharmaceutical grade. And there's not enough pharmaceutical grade in the world. So it's actually what's used in the radiology industry is synthetic. It's man-made. It's called the barium precipitate. And it's very expensive. So that's a quick rundown of barite. And in North America, we're import dependent, and it's very important for our economy.
Okay, so I want to get down to specifics here about barium and why it matters. We noticed that barite, okay, because barite is explicitly listed as a critical mineral by the U.S. Geological Survey and the U.S. Critical Raw Materials Resilience List. Can you tell me why they have it on their list?
Just a lack of domestic production. There's been a lot of barite produced, especially out of areas like Nevada, but these resources have depleted, and we're very heavily dependent on importing from China and India. That's where the bulk of it comes from, and some out of Morocco. So it's the United States, I think, imports well over 80% of their barite needs.
Well, we noticed that it's listed as barite in the US and on the European Union's critical mineral list, but they list barium as a critical mineral in Japan and South Korea. Can you tell us why they list it differently in these different lists?
Barium, or the different names for barite is it's all barium sulfate. So how they define it, I think it's more of a cultural shift of different ways of spelling and different ways of defining it. But it's BaSO4, barium sulfate, and it's very critical in all these countries, and it's hitting their critical mineral list because of the dependence these economies need to import these products. So it's a very strategic mineral for many countries: Europe, Japan, Korea, China, everywhere. It's every modern nation requires this mineral for so many different applications.
Our Critical Minerals Institute co-founder and chairman, Jack Lifton, tells me that barite remains economically irreplaceable. Now I want to ask you the big question. Why do you know so much about this? And tell us a little bit more about the project that you're leading.
Sure. I've been in the barite business for well over 30 years. Our Francis Creek project that we're moving forward with is a third mine that I've been involved in, from discovery to production. So I've been in with years of experience in this business. I know barium sulfate inside and out, from exploration to production to all the markets that it's used in. So it's a great mineral. It's a very profitable mineral if you can find a nice deposit. And we found one of the purest barium sulfate deposits in the world. And that's what makes our Francis Creek project so significant, is the value. So as we move forward, we looked at Francis Creek project where you sell a oil field grade barite, for example, for $300 a ton. And when you put it in a bottle of barium contrast for radiology, the added value you get is well over $200,000 a ton. So that's why we transitioned into the pharmaceutical sector.
And for all of you investors out there, Voyageur Pharmaceuticals share price has increased by 58% over the last year. I encourage you to learn more about barium and Voyageur Pharmaceuticals by going to the following website. Thank you for joining us today, Brent.
Thank you.